Welcome everybody to this Helpful Village January 15th release webinar where we're announcing changes and additions and modifications to our software. We start the meeting with a few reminders and resources. And there's a couple of webinars we're doing this week. So we're doing today is January 15th. We do a release webinar where we're announcing improvements and changes to the software. And then next week, we're doing an extra session. So we're doing 3 webinars this month because we're going to do the Q&A on the 29th of January, always at the same time, which is 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. So the Q&A will take place on January 29th. And then we're adding a strategic session next week, next Wednesday, January 22nd. The reason for this strategic session is that we felt during our December webinar, where we announced an adjustment in our prices that most of the people that attend our webinars regularly, they understand why we need to do this, but that there was some discussion beyond that group with essentially board members that are not following basically the changes in technology or the importance of the strategic projects in technology as much. And we felt that we needed to give an opportunity to those people to come meet with us. Everyone is welcome to that session. So everyone in this meeting is welcome to that session. But if you have people on your boards that you felt didn't understand exactly what we're doing or should have a better understanding of our strategic meetings or strategic projects or reasons why Helpful Village wants to do more, it would be great if you invite them all to this January 22nd webinar. Perfect. And then the rest are usual resources with the training docs guide, the help center, and Slack. Those are 3 resources where you can learn more about Helpful Village. This is one of the changes that we mentioned before because B2B is no longer hosting the session. They're advertising our webinars on their website. So you can find the Helpful Village webinars on the B2B calendar, but we're hosting them. And for that reason, we can just communicate with us directly. So if you have any questions for the Q&A session, you can send them to hvusers@helpfulvillage.com. And then from there, we will put them on a list and then we prioritize them and then put them in the right order so that we can be effective during the Q&A session. So questions to the QA session, you can send them here. This is a quick reminder of the Help Center. So all villages should be aware of this resource because this is how, when you have a question about how the software works, you should directly come here. And it's an interactive database of training documents. You can search any question you have, and then that will give you the answer. It's also the best way to submit a kind of a ticket request on the top right corner where it says submit a request. And when you do that, you have a possibility to describe what your problem is, and the system will provide you with a potential answer. And maybe the answer is there right before you hit send button. You don't need to send them anymore. Just a quick reminder also that we have 2 platforms. There is a Help Center, which is support.helpfulvillage.com, where you submit your tickets, in particular for tickets for support on when there is something unexpected that happened on your website. And then there is a separate website for improvement ideas, and that is ask.helpfulvillage.com. Now, in order to be efficient in our customer support, there are 2 things. First, if we can separate your requests from bugs to improvement ideas, it's better because we want to fix all the bugs first. And the second thing is that we, Anastasia, put together this list of suggestions so that we can treat your tickets faster. So I'm going to read this, but basically it's to help us provide faster and more accurate support. There are a few guidelines we would invite you to follow. For example, when you create a ticket, the title of the ticket is quite important. Sometimes we receive tickets that say help. Well, help doesn't tell me what's the subject, or helps me remember what this ticket was about. So if you can have a descriptive title, like you can see on number 2, which says issue with event registration, duplicate users, or problem with an event or a service request, well, then we have a little bit more context about, and if we see 3 tickets coming in and the 3 tickets are about the same topic, we know that there is something happening, maybe that comes from a new release change, etc. So if you can have more descriptive titles in the ticket type, that helps us respond to you quicker. And then for number 3, we get some tickets sometimes saying, well, we have a member that had a problem registering for an event, but then that's not enough information for us to investigate what the problem was. And then we need to go back to that ticket and answer, well, can you please provide us more information about who's the member that had that problem? You can send us the name and the email address. So all of that interaction or additional extra messages, we can avoid them, and then you can give us the precise description of the problem from the get-go. Well, then we can answer quicker to your requests. So basically, if you can add the names or their email addresses, in particular, also if you can have a description of what the problem was, how to reproduce it. So because once the first thing we will do on our end is try to see the same problem you saw. So if you tell us, well, for this member, when I hit on this precise button on this screen, then I know exactly how to reproduce it and how to see the problem with my own eyes before we can change it. Same thing, you can add screenshots. So these are guidelines and recommendations to send us better tickets. If you send us better tickets, we can answer them quicker. This is a slide about the automatic payments. So you have several options to pay your Village invoices to Helpful Village. One of them is when you receive an invoice, you can write a check, a paper check, and then go to the mail at the post office and then send it to us. But then it's a little extra work for us too, and extra work for you. But there is the possibility to set automatic payments for your monthly fees. If you want to do that, you can schedule a meeting with Anastasia so she can help you set that up. And then there is a training document that explains you how to do it. But then again, either you follow the training document or Anastasia can help you get this done. Okay, so we are done with the reminders. We're going to move on to the news and changes that we have on Helpful Village. And so we're going to start with the very first one. News piece is that we have, as I said before, a strategic session on webinar on January 22nd. That's next Wednesday at 2 p.m., 11 a.m. Pacific. So what we're doing there is that on this session, we will not be talking about the software. We'll not be talking about features and improvements and changes and screens and types, etc. But rather we will be talking about what is our vision as a software company for villages, what are the strategic projects we're working on, what makes us different to any other software for other villages, and what are the most important projects we're working on. So this is really a strategic session for non-tech leaders and decision makers and your board members that need to understand what is Helpful Village, why is Helpful Village adjusting the prices. All of that is taking place next week. So we invite you to bring on to this meeting people that usually don't come to this session. It's also an opportunity to receive your feedback about the direction our company is going in. So there is an important session, January 22nd at 2 p.m. Eastern. This is another piece of news. Maybe you have received this news, but we wanted to make sure that all villages have heard this, is that there is a new grant opportunity that seems fitting for villages, is that ARP is launching the Community Challenge grant programs for 2025. There is an application deadline of March 5th, 2025. The flagship grants, capacity building, micro grants, demonstration grants. So this has nothing to do with that. You just came across our feed, and we wanted to share with all villages that maybe you want to submit an application to ARP for some extra funding for your village. So if you want to check it out, you can just go to arp.org/community challenge and you have more information about that application process.
Now that I muted you.
Okay, got a muted person. There's more information about those grants. There's a Q&A, public Q&A webinar on Wednesday, January 29th at 2 p.m. Eastern. That's a terrible time. That's the exact same time we have our Q&A webinar for Helpful Village. What is ARP doing? So there's more information about this community challenge from ARP. So if you want to check that out, you can. Okay, we have more news. Is that we have announced in previous sessions that Helpful Village is adding a new module for more stylish websites. So we have done some work about this, and we are doing a marketing website demo at the end of the session today. So today, during this webinar, we will be showing a progress report on how this new piece is coming about, and we'll show it to you. So we're going to start with the regular kind of features and improvement to the regular Helpful Village, and at the end of the session today, we'll do a demo of our marketing website feature. So be patient, because we put it there as a suspense or surprise for today's webinar. And now that we have said all of that, we're going to go into release notes. So we'll go straight into changes of the software that are coming out this month and improvements. So we're going to go with a list of exciting changes we are bringing this month. First one is an improved event list. We have a faster display with a scroll pagination of your list of events. Now you can browse events seamlessly with something that is called infinite scroll, which sounds like a scary word. So I'm going to show you what it is because it's very natural. Actually, I'm going to show it to you right away. So if I go here to demo page and you go to the events list, what we did before is that this event list was showing maybe if you had 100 events, it was trying to load 100 events and that would take a long time. But now if I go down, you see that it loaded some events. You go down, but then you need to, and then at the bottom, when I get to this last one here, you see there is this scroll, this computing thing is going to go fetch another 20 events. So instead of loading 200 events, that takes a very long time, it's going to load 20. And then as you scroll down, naturally, it's going to be adding more events. And so that makes the display of your list of events a lot quicker. Okay. So that's a performance event we did for the list of events. Next one, we have a new feature. We have an associated member ticket purchase. So when you are registering for events, in the past, you have two types of registration for events. We have registration for free events, so people that just go and register for a free event, and they already had the possibility to register when they were logged in, right? Your associated members were able to log in for kind of register for an event for themselves, and they were able to add a registration for other household members. So essentially, if there was my mom and my dad that are in an associated membership, when my dad goes in and logs in to the platform, he has the possibility to say, okay, I want to register for this event for myself and also a checkbox for this other associated member. But we didn't have that for ticket purchases. So you have the possibility to sell tickets for some of your events. And so we added the same feature we had for free events. Now we have it also for paid events, where basically when you're purchasing a ticket, the system will offer you the possibility to just check a box and then add other associated members. I actually have a print screen of that in the next slide. So this is actually the same feature, just a demonstration of how it is, right? So when you go in and you hit on purchase ticket, you see that there's a price of $12 per ticket. And you have two tickets that I'm purchasing, and at the bottom of the screen there will be this thing that you see in the red box. Is that I went in actually as Elda, which is my mom, and then there's a new possibility to add associated households. For this demo, I set myself in an associated household with my mom. So basically, when she's purchasing a ticket, she can check this box, and that will purchase tickets for both of us, and that will take care of the registration for both of us in the list of participants for that event. So it's just making it easier for household members to register their spouses or partners or other household members. Okay, this one is a different one. I need to take a second because it takes a little bit of time explaining. So when you have a member registering for an event, they can do it in different ways. Our preferred way is when a member goes to your website, right, and they hit login, and once they are logged in, they go to that event and they register for that event. And we know who they are because they're already logged in, they provided their password. So we're confident that we can register for them for that event, and we know it's them. So that's convenient. So if you can recommend your members to always log in and do all the interaction helpful village, being logged in is the most secure way to do things. Now, we know that sometimes your members will not log in, or some of them don't want to log in anyways, right? And they will go to your calendar of events. If they do that and they go to an event that is open to the public, they can still register for that event, even if they're not logged in. And they will be offered the possibility to register adding their first name, their last name, their email address. And that's it, and we enter them. But what happens on the server side? On the server side, if you have an anonymous person registering with a first name, last name, and an email, if that email does not exist in the database, what we're going to do is that, well, it's a new person. We create a new record in the database, and we're going to register them for the event, and it's a new person that exists. But we try to do something smart, is that we try to avoid duplicates, right? If you have a member that comes in, right? Imagine that I'm going into an event and I want to register as Manuel Acevedo, and then I enter my first name, my last name, and my email address, and that email address is already well known by the platform, instead of creating a duplicate person, we already know it's the same person, because basically the emails are quite unique for that person. So basically, instead of creating a separate user or a duplicate, we're just adding this registration to the existing user in the database. So that we were doing before already, but the improvement we did this month is that sometimes you have members that are sharing the same email address. Something that we don't recommend is, for us, is a lot better if you have Mary and John Smith. It's better when you have Mary Smith at gmail.com and John Smith at gmail.com, because in that case, we can send volunteer opportunities to one email address, and to the other one, we send to the different email address. It's just a lot easier. But just some members don't want to create a separate email address for each one of them. And the way they work is that they have one single email address that they share, and there's no way to change that. In that case, we also try to be smart. And the change that we're doing here is that if John goes and registers for that event, and she puts John Smith, and the email address he enters is John and Mary Smith at gmail.com, we will add that registration to John Smith. But then if we have another person coming in and basically saying Mary Smith, first name Mary, last name Smith, email John and Mary Smith, we're going to just check the first name and last name, right? And then if one of the people in the household membership has that email address, we're going to put it to the right person. We were doing before, it's like we're just attributing to the person that had that email address. Now we are a little smarter. It's like, okay, we look if there is that email address exists. And if that email address exists in the database and there is a user with it, we're going to look inside the household membership. What is the person that is a better match with the registration based on the first name and first name of the person that registered. So basically, in a nutshell, I know it's a lot of words that I'm saying here for something that is pretty simple, but in a nutshell, is that this is useful. I mean, if this is useful, this is a useful addition. If you have household members that are sharing the same email address, our system, when they're logged out, it will be more accurately adding the registration to the person that shares this email address based on their first name. That's maybe the best definition I can have. If you didn't fully understand what I'm saying today, we are recording this webinar, will be published on YouTube, so you can replay it, and maybe as you replay it and you listen to me two or three times, maybe it makes more sense. Okay, this is a different improvement. So when you are creating events, there is a possibility to set a discussion about this event. For example, you have a potluck event, and then people want to use the discussion box when they're logged in, actually your members, and one member can say, well, I want to bring a salad, another one wants to bring chicken or something like that. All that conversation can happen on that event, and it's only visible to members. Now, we did a little adjustment because basically the way we had before is that in that discussion box under the event, when there's this conversation about this event, there are some admin features there. For example, deleting the event or hiding the comment is something that an admin can do, but a member cannot do. And before, we were showing all the links to members, even if they could not delete the comment, we were just showing the link, but they were not allowed to do it. So that was weird. So we just changed it. And in the version that is coming out this month, if I'm a member, I will not be able to delete the comment, but I can edit the comment. So just better display of the actions they can do on the conversation about this event. So it's a little display change. Okay, this is a different improvement. And this is not about events. I'm going to a different module. This is service requests. So we added the possibility for members to have overlapping service requests for members. Okay, so if you want to see that, you will go under admin admin settings, and then you go to the services tab, and then under that there is a service settings, and there is a new checkbox here that is highlighted there in red that you can choose to add or not add. It's basically, do you want to authorize members to have an overlapping service request? There is a similar option below, which is, do you want to authorize a volunteer to have overlapping service requests? Now, let me spend some time explaining what this means. Initially, in Helpful Village, if you had a member that is requesting a volunteer for Friday at 9 a.m., if the same member had another service request at Friday 9 a.m., we would not allow that overlapping service request, because we imagine that that member had forgotten about the first request and they were doing two different service requests for two different volunteers for two different activities. So that would be a mess. So basically the system used to forbid service requests for the same member that were taking place at the same time. And that's what happens if overlapping is not authorized. Now, we had a request from a village to have this option, because sometimes what happened in their case, if I remember well, is that they were requesting two volunteers that would go to this member's house. For example, if they needed to move a table, you need two volunteers. So in that case, it makes sense to have basically an overlapping service request, because you're looking for two volunteers, but it's for the same thing at the same address for the same member. So in that case, for that village, it would be interesting to authorize members to have overlapping service requests, because it's a good use of an overlapping service request. Okay, we move on to the next one. Okay, this is cool. So this is about a feature that is called village maps. Okay, so village maps is a possibility for your village to locate where your members are located. And then we had village maps before that existed in Helpful Village, if you know about your village, and this is it. So if you go here, it would look like this. And if you look on the right, there are different layers or filters you can apply. So this is the admin view of village maps. Until today, village maps was an admin only feature. So only your admins had access to this functionality, and the admins could go in and they can filter it and look for members, for volunteers, for local coordinators, neighborhoods, etc. So now the change that we're introducing this month is that now we added a version of the village maps that is visible to your members. If you want to make this page accessible, now we have a feature that doesn't allow them to locate the volunteers, right? But allows them to find other members, local coordinators, and also the neighborhoods. You see, so it's kind of a member capable kind of service request. Let me show you these maps if you don't remember it. So demo, actually I have demo here. We go demo, and then I go to admin village maps. So it was a admin feature before. And I'm going to show you how it works for an admin. So if I'm an admin here, it's going to show me everyone here, and I can remove these layers, a neighborhood. And then basically I can add these layers. So I can say, okay, show me all the neighborhoods of my village, these different local villages. You can set a local coordinator. This is something, for example, that Sausalito is using to have emergency respondents. If there is kind of a fire or an emergency, members can contact another volunteer or another leader in their neighborhood. And then you can click on any of this, right? And these are Lane, Breitenberg, you get the name of that person per neighborhood. And then here, the other thing you can do is like you can show the members. And then this is demo. So I just have a small number of members here, right? And then, for example, these are the coordinators and members. And then I can use the search capability. For example, if I'm looking for my mom, I would type here Elda, search it. And then I have here an easy way to find a member on the map, right? So this is where my mom is located. And imagine that you need someone to go help my mom. The next thing I would do is that, okay, now that I know where she is, I log in. I zoom in. Okay, and now I need a volunteer near her. So let me see if I can add a layer of volunteers. No, that was disappointing. What happened? Let me reload the page. Oh, no, I know what happened. It was all good. I know what happened. It was my bad, actually. Let me do it again. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do remove the volunteers. I'm going to search Elda, and I have my mom here. And if I want to find a volunteer near here, I would have here, the thing is like I had the filter on names. I didn't have a volunteer whose name is Elda. So what I need to do is that I can add volunteers, and then I can remove the name request. And then I found the volunteers near her. So I have this person here, it's Jacob, it's not too far. And then I have this other person, it's Mario Brown, that is not too far. And I can ask them if they can go one block further, just knock on my mom's door or something. So that's interesting use by an admin of the village maps. And now if I go back to our slides, what we're saying is that thing that is an admin feature with all these layers was accessible to admins. What is new on this version is that you have the possibility to activate two different versions. One that is accessible to your active members, and those active members can look up these things. They can look at members, local coordinators, and neighborhoods and search. And then the admins can have extra powers as they usually do. So we're opening this up for members. Okay, this is not features, but these are training docs that have been added this week. So Anastasia has been working on a couple of the training resources we have on our help center. One is how to set up Stripe payments. We had, for villages, if you already did this, you don't need to check this out, but villages that are connecting Stripe for their online payments to their Helpful Village platform, there is a process with Stripe, and then we just reorganize the documentation so that it's easier for new villages to follow the different steps you need to do on Helpful Village and on Stripe to create the connection between both of them. If your village is already connected to Stripe, you don't need to think about that. But there is maybe something that can be interesting to all villages, that our recommendation is that your village has to have two different Stripe accounts, one for payments, one for donations. So that's why there are two different training documents. The thing is that at first, in the very early days, Stripe was offering a discounted rate for nonprofits of usually 2.2% on their credit card rates. And in the very early days of the company, they were offering that to all the transactions that a village would have. They were more generous, and now they're less generous, and they only offer, for new villages at least that get new deals, they only offer the discount for nonprofit to the donations that you receive on Helpful Village. So in that case, if you're one of the later villages, we ask you to create two Stripe accounts with these training documents, and then that allows you to get a discounted rate for the credit card fees on the donations you receive on Helpful Village. Okay, these are other features and improvements we added this month. Is that we have added for the vendors providers, there is a new email template. It works in a different way. When you so there is a vendor module. So the vendor module is a vendor that allows your members to access some recommended providers in your area. So if you're recommending lawyers or gardeners or a tech assistance company, you can have a list of providers. And then what we do now is that in this particular village, we're working with a village in Pennsylvania, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And basically, the workflow is that you can invite your members, if you wish to do that, to recommend some local providers that they like. So you can make an application form available to them where they provide the name of the provider, the service that they offer, etc. And then when they do that, you can use an email template that will be sent to the provider's manager in your village. And that email template, you can customize it, right, on the regular email templates area in Helpful Village. And then that will have two variables that you can use: the business name, the organization name, actually, and the other one is the provider URL, which makes it easier for your provider manager to find it. Okay, this one is it. Okay, and this is the other improvement we have done, and we work on this with Lancaster also, is that you have service requests, is where you offer opportunities for your members to ask for help. So that's service requests. And then you have the possibility to add service evaluations. The service evaluation is the system that allows to send automatic emails to either your volunteers or your members about how did the service request go. That can be set up to go out automatically. And then there is a page which has all the collection of service evaluations. And now what we added in this version is that you now have the possibility to search those service evaluations by different criteria. If you want to search a service evaluation by member or volunteer, by the number of stars, description, etc. So let me show you, actually, instead of just explaining it with words. It's easy for me to go, well, first, if you want to see the service request, they're here. But then service evaluation for admins, you would usually find them here: services management, service evaluations. And when you're in the service evaluation, you have a list of different things that have happened. And then I have a box at the bottom that allows me to search. So the same thing we have for service requests. Here at the bottom, there's possibility to search service request by member, by purpose, after date, before date. Well, now we added the same thing for the service evaluation, where you have this criteria here, which is search member, after date, number of stars, etc. So it allows you to find service evaluations a lot quicker. Yes, so this is the same improvement we said before, just added some extra screens. So this is a customizable email template for vendor and provider notifications, right? And this is how it looks like. This just wanted to add an extra screen to show you where to find it in the email template editor, right? You can find it and you can give the name that you want. You can put it in the email template category of providers. And this is the auto task. Basically, when there is an application form that is being submitted, this email will be automatically sent to your provider manager. And then here you can customize the text of that message. And then you have two variables that are available. One is organization name, and the other one is provider URL. And those will be replaced with the values in the application form when that happens. Okay, so that is for the improvements. I still have two more things to show you. One is a quick thing about SEO training, and then the second thing is the marketing website that I have not forgotten with this demo. But we're going to go into SEO training. So you might be wondering what SEO means. It's just a dark word for a search engine optimization. So search engine optimization is what you need to do so that a search engine like Google or Yahoo or any other software used to find things on the web can show your village. And I was talking with this other village. For example, you go here and you go and you search on Google, right? And you say Marine Villages, for example. Our software makes it so that your content is put in a good light, and then basically you should be appearing in the first position of the search results. So Marine Village, if you search Marine Village, is there in the number one result. If you go here and search Pasadena Village, you're also on the first result. So you should go and check and Google your own village, and you should expect to be at the top of the results list. You go search helpful village, it's also at the top, and then all of that for that village. Now, we were speaking with one of our villages, and they were not on the number one position, and they were wondering why. So we wanted to tell you a few things about why. First is this, few recommendations. Okay, at home by high. At home by high is good. They're still number one position on Google for other reasons. But there are a number of things they could change, for example, here. So they went onto their website and they added this, but these things here that they're adding, this is not text, this is an image. And then here they have another beautiful image here. But you see the text here, if I try to go over and select the text, I cannot, because actually all that text is part of an image. So it looks pretty. Sometimes you can have this text as it's pretty, but Google has a tough time reading the text in the image. So that hurts your search results. Actually, let me try. Okay, there we go. Cleveland West Side Village. And this is another village where there is also another improvement they could do, right? This is a beautiful village that has one of my favorite pictures of the whole village movement. It's just a village in Cleveland, right? And they're standing one next to the other. But then if you look at their homepage, right, they have one title, one sentence. Well, that one sentence is kind of short, so Google doesn't like it too much because they don't have enough content to update their Google search results and rankings. So we have several recommendations. One is that use text as text, and this is text, right? It's not an image, it's text. So Google can go to your website and find all this text and index you for all these search results. You should add here all your keywords, right? Like aging in place, and older adults, right? So these, you have a couple of good keywords here. But now you can probably add a little more content and text, because Google is only working with 3 sentences. They don't like it too much. There is another thing that is super important for your search engine results, and it's the following. I'm going to go back here. It's this. And this is actually something that is called the page rank. So Google became a super successful multi-billion company because they developed a search engine, right, about knowing what are the first search results they should promote. How do you get to the first position of a Google search? And then there's this thing that is called page rank for one of the founders at Google. And basically what he came up is like, they should display at the top of the search results the websites that are very popular. right? So if everyone is talking about Cleveland West Side Village, right? Because the whole internet is talking about that, then their website should be at the top of the search results, right? So um, it's kind of pretty natural, but he was the first to discover that. So basically, one thing you want to do is that you want to be popular on the internet. So every time there is an opportunity to have a link to your website, right, on any other third-party page, you should ask them to have a to link to you. That's how basically you become popular, because there are incoming links to your website. So I want to show you something, because basically this is an article they got, right? 2023, Cleveland Westside Village helps resident age in place. If you click on it, right, and then open it, they have a beautiful website link here, right? And a beautiful article where they were interviewing some of the village founders or leaders and explaining what a village is. And this page has a lot of very interesting keywords, right? And they go to the very bottom of this page. And then there is a missed opportunity, because they're saying, welcomes new members, all of this is good. And then to reserve a spot at the happy hours, more information, right? Meeting, call this phone number or send an email to this email address. Missed opportunity here is that you should always, always, always include a link to your website. You need to say, if you want to learn more about what we do, visit our website. And when you say visit our website, you need to include a link to your website, not only because it helps people that are reading this article, right? Because it will make it easier for them to get more information, but because this is what helps the most your Google search results. Because Google will come to this article, right, and say, oh, wow, these people are talking about that other website. So that other website is getting popular. So that other website, I need to put it higher on the search results. So my recommendation here to my Cleveland friends is like, call them. You can still call these journalists or whatever, right? And you tell them, even on the old article, you need to tell them to modify it and add a link to www.clevelandwestsidevillage.org. So every time you have a chance, because you're talking with a journalist, you need to always tell them, please add a link to our website, because that will help people to find us, and it will also help our search engine results ranking. Now, I would do a follow-up of that. If you're talking to a newspaper or an article, an article on the internet or something, ask them to add a link. And even if you want to go further and maximize your search engine results, don't stop even there. Don't wait for journalists to be there. Try to think about opportunities where you could have links to your website. And maybe there are easy opportunities. If you talk to the maybe Chamber of Commerce or even your city, right? Well, they have aging or adult services or something like that, you can ask them, would you mind having a reference or a link to our website on your website? And all of that helps. The more you can have your links to your website on a higher number of websites linking to you, the better. So that will help your search results. Just think about where you could have links to your website. Okay, do we have any questions about search engines? It sounds a little technical. It's not all that technical. It's just trying to add as many links to your website as you can. Okay, and now we have demo time, because we have been discussing about the possibility to have more stylish websites. So I want to pause here for a second before I show you the demo. Helpful Village comes with an editable website module. So if you go here to demo, right, you have this, and then you have this editor here. And then there are good things about this website editing, and there are other not as good things. So the good thing is that you can edit, right, homepage. And here you can easily change it and say that this is Florida. And you can change these colors and then go to yellow and then save. So it allows to very easily change the text of and images of your website. But we recognize that it's not always super easy to move things around, because we have 25 different modules, and it's kind of complicated to move things around on the internet. So what we have been studying is the possibility to have a front-end marketing website that allows for additional styling options and more templates and graphic elements that you can add to this website. So one thing that I want to make clear is that you will still be able to have your website on Helpful Village. That does not change. You can keep it all as it is. If you like your website inside the Helpful Village with these patterns and this design, I can show you some of the designs here. For example, some villages do more. I know Beacon Hill spent some time building a more stylish design inside the Helpful Village constraints and moving these things with these pictures and stuff like that. If you're happy with your Helpful Village website as it is, you don't need to change anything. But we're adding the possibility to have another front end website. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. Okay, so this is it. So we have a demo. First, I need to thank Anastasia because we have been working on this. I've been working on the technical aspects of providing this more stylish website. Anastasia did a lot of the work on the artistic aspects and the colors and the positioning and stuff like that. So we've been working together on this. And then going to click on it and it's actually going to open a demo of the website we've been working on. So you have here the possibility to have this other third-party website where you can obviously put your text and graphic elements, and you scroll down like this, you have the possibility to add a graphic element like this with this other image to the left, to the right, to the right, to the left, with these other different buttons, with the possibility to have these other 3 boxes and stuff like that. There are a lot more graphic elements that are allowed because all these graphic components come from WordPress. So WordPress is the internet's most popular website building platform, right? That is specifically dedicated to that. So they have a lot more graphic elements and templates, etc., that are possible. So I can show you around. This is one of the pages, right, that have been created there. And then I can show you another page here, which is About Us page. That's going to display a different list of graphic elements that are used there. And then I would show you the events list and calendar in a second. Let me see here. Yes. Now I can explain to you a few things about how this works. So now WordPress, right? What is the relationship now between WordPress and Helpful Village, and what does it mean a marketing website? So what it means is that this WordPress is a platform that exists right on the market because it allows for this graphic prettiness of the thing, but it's not necessarily as secure as Helpful Village is. So we have all the data. It's not on WordPress.
What does animal CA mean?
Oops, that's another mute here. Oops. God. Oops, I didn't write it right. Let me just try it again. So we're here, and I don't know if we did this link right or not. Or let me try this. Oh, God. This one will work. So basically what happens is that we allow you now to have a more stylish website that works under Helpful Village hosting, where you have more of these graphic elements and things like that. But all of that for just the marketing content, which is the text and pictures you want to use for your advertisement. But every time you have members that want to interact with the platform, with your village, we will still send them, as you can see here, right? For example, you want to see imagine that a person goes to this marketing website, they want to register for one of the events, they click on calendar. And when they click on calendar, they will be, for all the interactive aspects, they will be sent to the Helpful Village backend, because the Helpful Village backend is a lot more secure in terms of security and interaction, and all the dynamic features are accessible under the Helpful Village. So it's kind of a facade, right? If you had a shop, right? You have a possibility to add a facade that is prettier in the front end for marketing purposes. But then when your members want to interact with the village, they will still come to the Helpful Village platform because there is all the functionalities here. Now, I like always mentioning this example of the banks, right? When you go to the bank, you have a marketing website where the banks are advertising their loans and their credit cards and stuff like that. So that is a marketing website, but you don't interact with that system. And then when you want to do your online banking, right, you're sent to this other separate platform where you log in and where you do all of your transactions. And that happens under a different website. So here we will do the same thing. It's like you can have, you can choose to set up a new marketing website that has text and images that are pretty static and that does not contain all the data of your members. And then if people want to interact with the system and have data-related events, like request a service request or sign up for an event or make a donation, they will be sent to the Helpful Village platform because that's where all the high security interactions will take place. So it's just a marketing layer that you can add outside. So it's not, the WordPress is not replacing Helpful Village. WordPress is just a marketing website where you can make it look pretty and then link to Helpful Village for the interactive parts. Okay, I think we had one more slide. I don't see it now. We had one more slide. I don't know, Anastasia, if it was here or later about how we want to go about this. Because we have been working on this and we have additional features and tech integration that we're doing with WordPress. And but we are not making, we wanted to do a progress report with you today, but we're not launching it for all villages at the first time. What we're trying to do is that we would like to go, like we usually do, kind of one step at a time. So we wanted to let villages know that we would be interested in start working. If there are some villages that are interested in adding this WordPress piece, instead of us doing this with 25 villages at the same time, we would like to do some sort of a waiting list so that we start working with some. So if you're interested in this piece, you can set up some time with Anastasia so that we can learn more about your specific needs, the type of style that you wanna have, what are the type of changes, colors, and things that you would like to set up for your village, and then we can start a discussion about how this new, more stylish websites module can work for you. So at this time, so don't expect to have it as a button on your Helpful Village platform so that 100 villages can start using it, but rather we need to go one by one. You can contact Anastasia, schedule a meeting with us, and we can start working with you about how this stylish website could work for you. Yeah, Anastasia, if we have the slide about this other slide that we had, I don't know exactly if it was before or after. You know where it is? When we're saying about scheduling time with us.
It was more in the beginning of the presentation and the news, under the news.
Okay.
Yes, under the news.
I'm under news. Yeah. Oh, here.
Slide 15. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is it. Exactly. Thank you. So I'm gonna put it here. So yeah, the marketing website, if you're interested in this, it will not just deploy to your server. It's something where you can showcase your mission events with a more beautifully designed, user-friendly website if you need more than what you have today. And then Helpful Village can assist you with easier website building upon request. So just need to schedule a meeting, send an email to anastasia@helpfulvillage.com. We'll meet with you on Zoom, and then we can do a one-on-one meeting about what are you expecting in terms of design and style, and we can show you a little bit how this new module also works. So instead of just doing a deployment to 100 villages at once, we need to do a one-on-one kind of approach for now until we get more experience at how this is a successful story for one village before we open it up to 100 villages. Is that right? Did I forget something, or that was the process we discussed? I think that was it.
Yeah, that's exactly the process we're going to follow. And also, Colin has a question.
Perfect.
He's asking if the current domain would be maintained.
Yes. So you can. Villages. We recommend villages to purchase a domain name, right? That also helps with the search results. And then if you have a marketing website, that's what basically anonymous people would want to find online. So we would recommend using your domain name for the marketing website. And we can configure your existing domain name, right? There's a little bit of configuration we need to do, but you will be able to use your domain name with the marketing website that we make available to you. So yes, you can use. And then there is two additional comments that I wanted to make now that I think of it. First is that some villages some of you may even have a separate marketing website before that you did outside of Helpful Village, right? That's fine. You can always do whatever you want. But I wanted to mention what are the benefits of working with us is that this WordPress website that we're offering to you will be hosted by Helpful Village. So it will be on one of our servers, right? So you will be able not to talk to a third party, just talk to us about, hey, what's going on with our marketing website? And, I don't know, just speed or backup or server or anything like that, you can always discuss with us. And also because it's a WordPress website that we're hosting ourselves, we are more confident on the security of the platform so that we can allow some additional interaction between the WordPress front end and and the helpful village database. For example, you will be able to display on WordPress a list of your public events, right? Because we trust ourselves. It's like, okay, basically what I'm saying is that your marketing website, if you do it with us, right, it will be able to communicate with Helpful Village in a secure way for some things, right? We will always ask members to log into Helpful Village to do the important things, but for some things, like for example, displaying the list of events, is something that you will be able to do on your marketing website if you do it with us. And it's something that we will only do on WordPress. I know some people have been exploring other platforms like Wix or things like that. We will not do, before you ask, we will not be doing Wix and other platforms for the same reason that we only choose the best platform for each type of service, right? I know some people have come to us in the past saying, well, would you accept payments with PayPal in addition to Stripe? And we say no, because we don't want to spend our time learning, 3 different payment platforms to integrate it in a high security manner. So we just chose the best one for us, that was Stripe. And same thing here for the website design. It's like, we have been studying and working on WordPress for these APIs and technical integration with Helpful Village. And we will not spend the same amount of time on Wix or for 5 other website development platforms. We just chose the one that was the best for us, that is really working really well. And that's the one we would recommend. Now, if there is something you didn't fully understand about the integration of the advantages of this marketing website, I would say don't worry too much. If it's not too urgent for your village, we will be bringing you other updates in next month's webinars, right? So our hope was that we could start working right away with one of the villages that is ready to try it or give it a go. And then next month, we will be showing to other villages what this village was able to accomplish with us and what are the advantages, etc. So if you think this is an interesting idea, but you're not absolutely sure, you didn't fully understand why, just wait a little bit and we will keep you informed next week. And if your website is eager to try this new avenue, well, then in that case, just contact Anastasia and then we do a one-on-one meeting and try to get you going. Yes, I think there's a question. Dorothy, you had a question about this.
So will there be additional cost? So like
Yes.
part of you setting it up, it would be part
Yes.
of like software development?
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
have any idea what it might cost?
Yes.
For the average village?
Yes. So yeah, it's a separate cost because basically what we have is like you keep the same service that you had with Helpful Village before, right? If you keep your website as it is, etc., that's the cost of Helpful Village. And this is an additional server that runs on a different machine on Amazon. And then it needs some extra time to be set up and to be used and to debug if you have an issue with it. And we need to back up your website. All of that is extra work, etc. That is optional. So it's optional. You don't have to, but if you want to have it, there'll be some extra price. So we haven't finished the pricing yet for that, so I cannot give you a direct price at this time. But we want to do something that is comparable to you having a separate website without us, etc. It is maybe a little bit. So yeah. So it's not going to be anything crazy, I think. But we need to get back to you basically on as we fine tune this pricing structure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Lisa also has a question.
Perfect.
If you already have a marketing website that's on WordPress, how is it going to be integrated into Helpful Village?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we would be happy to look at it because there are tools in WordPress that allows you to export basically your database with some of those pages, etc. So potentially you can export from whatever hosting service you have already. We can try to import within Helpful Village, and then once it's imported into one of our servers, then you have access to this additional API and integration with Helpful Village. So basically, yeah, we can potentially bring some of the design you have done outside and bring it to our server and then get the benefits of more secure integration with us. Do we have any other questions? I don't know. Oops. Okay, I want to try something else. Give me a second. No, okay. Um, so I do, Anastasia, do we have any other questions in the chat? Because they usually kind of speak, and I don't read the chat. Sometimes there are some questions from the chat that need to be addressed. And I see Carol raised her hand.
Have one more question.
Okay, we have Carol that raised her hand, and then maybe we'll go to the chat. Or is it the same question, Anastasia? I don't know.
It's a different question. Different
Okay,
one.
well then I start with Carol that raised her hand, and then we go to the other question. So Carol, yeah, you wanted to ask something.
Okay, so I just want to clarify my understanding of the WordPress integration.
Yeah. Yes.
A village would need to have an account at WordPress, but Helpful Village could integrate it
It's a
with Helpful
great
Village. Okay.
So the answer is no, but it's a great question. So I will clarify that. So let me see if this answers your question. So WordPress is a software really about for website building. Okay. Now that software is something that we're installing on a Helpful Village server, right? And then we can run on a server. So you don't need to create an account with somewhere else. So basically, if you launch it with us, we create an instance of WordPress. So we will have WordPress software running on our server. We create a user, we send you the password, and then basically you have an account on one of our WordPress servers, basically. Now, Carol, now I'm gonna try to make a clarification because, and I hope I'm not making this more confusing, because basically there is other vendors, including possibly WordPress.com, that allow you to create a WordPress website on their platform. See what I'm saying? So that's why it's such a good question. But this is not what we're recommending, because whatever happens on their server, we don't trust them anyways, because we don't trust anybody besides ourselves, right? With the security of your data. So yeah, please be mindful not to create a separate account on WordPress.com or any of the other hosts that you have. It's like we will be using WordPress software on a Helpful Village server, and you will, if you sign up for it, we will send you a username and password to the basically to the WordPress software on our infrastructure. So it was a great question. It is still a great question. It didn't explain that clearly.
So we don't need to set up a WordPress account, but if we sign up for the premium feature on Helpful Village, we will have access to a WordPress account. And so the fee for the premium feature will include your fee and the WordPress fee all together.
Exactly.
Okay,
So there is no other. You don't need to bother about a different third-party service or anything. It's just we're integrating WordPress software into our infrastructure. So it's a great clarification. Thank you. And then we have another question, Athena from New York, Ithaca, New York. What do you say, Ithaca or Ithaca? I don't know. I think you're muted.
Sorry, it's Ithaca.
Ithaca, okay. Try to get that better.
Yes, that's right.
And I see you're two people today. You have your boss with you?
That's right. She's been typing all morning, which makes it really hard to write emails. But
Okay.
So I have kind of a random question, but the new map feature.
Yes.
First of all, I love it. Thank you for making that available to our members. Is it possible to have a editable text box somewhere on that page?
Editable text box. I mean, I still don't follow you, but it's like, what would you have on that page? Oh,
So
yeah, I see. For you to display a message to them.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
That's a brilliant idea. I mean, I didn't think of that, but the answer is yes. Thank you, Tina. Yeah, that's great. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Lisa, I think you're next.
Yeah, just one more question. So if we're starting today,
yes,
what do we do? Because you're not quite ready yet, and we want to start.
Yes.
So, and if we start, you want to get your structure outlined from a marketing website standpoint, so you know what you want to put up there and what image.
Yeah.
How do you go about that? Because you said don't start already on WordPress. So
yeah. Yeah. So basically, so it depends on the stage of development of the village, right? If this is a whole new village, a new group that is starting, right, and they don't have all these day-to-day operations stuff like that, we would say, well, talk to us because we can get you basically an instance of this WordPress website where you can start working on organizing your content, and we're going to work with you, right? Because the first thing when you're working on, I mean, if it's a new village, right, there's a lot of questions about, okay, how do I structure my content? How many pages do I want? What do I have in the menu? And then now that you have these pages, like what is the text that I want? And now that I have the text, what are the text and pictures that would illustrate those texts? So I would say if it's a brand new village that is starting on website building, I would say, well, I schedule some time with us. And then we start working on this WordPress website about just display. See what I'm saying of how that works, and then yeah, we can get started right away. That was a question from
Can I ask one
Lisa.
more question, follow-up question? So
Yes.
the user license that you have, right? Because you're purchasing kind of a package, and then you purchase user licenses from WordPress, right? Depending on
Wait,
how
repeat
many.
that. Repeat that. Sorry.
You're kind of purchasing user licenses, right? So you have the license from WordPress to use this, and for every user that you bring on board, you're charging that user some license fee.
Okay.
If you have that integration that has to happen with Helpful Village, and you're into a hub and spoke model, are you ready to approach that now? Because it's kind of chicken or the egg for some of us if we want to launch a new spoke.
Yeah.
Are they ready to go using this WordPress? And if you do the license, is it by spoke or if it's by hub?
Okay. That's a lot to unpack in there. First, and Lisa is an expert in hub and spoke because we work together in what is certainly the largest hub and spoke village in the nation. And hub and spoke is a very interesting model for those that have never heard of it. Is that you can have a village that is operating in different neighborhoods or in different towns, right? But they share some resources, maybe a common office, some common staff that is serving multiple localities. And then you have a volunteer that doesn't necessarily want to go to the next town to pick up somebody, right, to take them to the doctor, but somebody in their local town that they can take. So basically, these are hub and spoke is essentially having an office or some common resources serving multiple local villages. So we are doing some work so that we are pushing the hub and spoke model further. It's already there are hub and spoke functionality in Helpful Village, in particular for your service requests. And then we're discussing with Lisa and other people about adding more hub and spoke features to other modules like events or village talk and things like that. So for now, if you have a new spoke and they want to have their separate website, for me, I would recommend, talking to us. They can start working on their WordPress website, etc., on their marketing material. It doesn't change anything to the fact that, the spookification of the backend features, because that's a separate system, right? Everything that works under Helpful Village. So, and they will still need a marketing website for that spoke. So I would say, get that spoke busy working on, okay, what is the content? What do you want to talk about? What is the text that you want to have on that website? What are the pictures you want to use? What are the colors? What is the logo? What is the things that, and then they start building on their website, right? And then once they will need some more backend interactive features from Helpful Village, then we will work more on the integration between WordPress and Helpful Village to send some of that traffic to Helpful Village. Yeah. So my recommendation would be, if you have a new spoke, start having them work on their marketing website on WordPress, and then we will link it up with Helpful Village later. That's my recommendation.
Thank you.
Okay. We have Ellen Osmondson that has another question.
Yes, my name is Ellen Osmondson. I am the pre-launch chair of Walnut Creek Village. We are going to be a spoke of
cool.
a hub. The question, Lisa's question was very timely. And so we don't have a website, and we are running into situations where people ask, how do I find out more about you? Do you have a website? So we do need a website, and our Marty Veluva has been in contact with you, and And so you're suggesting for us to put together our website first on WordPress
Yes.
before we even get the components from Helpful Village from you.
Yes, because first is the question you're getting from your customers or future customers, like, do you have a website? So WordPress is exactly a marketing tool that allows them to get that information, learn more about that, get in touch with you. They're not necessarily asking you for service requests or other things that are more advanced. I would say, yeah. So if they're asking for a website, I would go with WordPress to build a website and then have your team start working on the text and pictures and the message and why Walnut Creek, or what are the areas of Walnut Creek that you're serving. So all of that, I think would be my most recommended action at this time.
Yeah, and also, Walnut Creek Village is kind of interesting because there was a Walnut Creek Village before, but then it ceased to exist. And there is the walnutcreekvillage.org website. So how do we clear that? We need to clear that because now people actually, search on Google and they found us, but the website is dead. So how do we go about fixing that?
Yeah. So basically, anyone.
It's probably not your area of service.
No, it's a good one. I mean, it's not about the internet, so I can answer it. So, but basically, the question is that a domain name, right, is what you call is walnutcreek.org or village.org, and those are for sale on the internet, and somebody bought that one. The best thing would be knowing who is the owner of that domain name in the past. If you know that person, and maybe in town someone knows who has it, and if that person has it and he still owns it, it's because you have a year annual fee for that domain name. Something cheap, something like $10 per year. So if that person is still paying the $10 per year, she would still have rights to it. So the best thing would be talking to that person. Can you please transfer that domain name to us? Going to follow up on the journey that you started, right? And we would love to make this happen, and you can be part of it or something like that. So you can have them transfer the ownership of that domain name to you is the best thing. And then from there, we can configure it so that it shows your website, etc. Now, if this person is not paying the annual fees anymore, right? What happens is that if you don't pay the annual fee, that domain name goes again back into the free market. And then you can purchase it. And then I would try that. You could go and try to purchase it.
I can just search. I can just search to see if it's available. Okay.
Yes. And if it's available, just purchase it right away because it costs $10 a year, and then it's a big deal. So definitely do it.
Okay.
Sometimes it's kind of the internet being a jungle, right? You have legit people that bought it in the first place, and if they don't renew, it goes back into the free market. But it's kind of some sort of a pirates in a way that purchase these domain names so that they make money selling it back to you. So maybe it can be that not the original buyer. The original buyer maybe released it, and then a new buyer came in just to sell it in the future or something like that. Anyways, you just need to investigate it. But if it's available, just go and buy it because it costs $10 per year and it's worth it. If it's not available, try to see if the previous owner can transfer it to you. It doesn't cost anything to them. And then I'm just talk to our team if you have any other situation. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. And then I need to apologize to the whole group because we are way past the hour. I like finishing kind of 1 or 2 minutes late, but we're 16 minutes late. So thank you for staying this long with all of us. And then I wanted to thank you for all your questions and interest. And then we'll be talking some more. We have, as last reminder, an important session next week. So next week, we're not talking about any, we will not be answering any tech questions, not about the domain, not about WordPress, not about anything. We're talking about the big picture goals and strategy and vision for the Village movement as we see it. What are the priorities for our company, not at the feature level, but really at the module level? Like, what are the big projects we're working on? We will be spending hundreds of hours next year. And basically these collaborations and strategic projects we're working on. And you have heard of some of these strategic projects before. One of them is the taxonomy project, the data collection projects that we do to help you find funding, right? We spoke about the community care core grants that were based on data. So all of those big items and outside of these features and things are the things that we're going to discuss tomorrow, not tomorrow, next week. And again, so if you have people in your village that you think should be interested in the strategic project, but they're scared of the bits and bytes, you can tell them there's no bits and bytes next week. It's just what is our vision as a provider for villages in the big strategic project, and we'll be happy to have everyone there. Ellen, you had one last comment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will that be recorded? Because next Wednesday, when you have the very important meeting, is when we have our pre-launch event, and we're going to introduce to the world
absolutely
about our
great
existence. Okay,
yes,
so
absolutely.
it'll be great if you record.
Absolutely. We'll do
Okay.
that. Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. See you next week, and then talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.